thought I'd do something different tonight and record the news to see what the ratio of positive to negative stories were and to see what the current agenda is. What you're looking at is the ABC's Melbourne edition. For anyone not familiar with Australian broadcasting, the ABC is the PBS, the CBC, the BBC of Australia, and, like its counterparts, it has an agenda dictated by shadowy figures. Let's have a look at what they're programming the masses with today.
Tonight, a desperate search for survivors as the death toll climbs from the Mexican earthquake. More police powers as counter-terrorism laws are overhauled.
In this day and age, there's a need to act very quickly, and seconds count. We're more likely than ever to have to shoot first.
A flesh-eating bacteria on the rise in Victoria.
We've seen a substantial increase. We've seen doubling for the last 2 years in the number of cases.
And driven to distraction, getting Australians off their phones to save lives.
I almost freak out when I pick up my phone because I really think about how dangerous it is and what could happen.
Good evening, Paul Higgins with ABC News. A desperate search is continuing in Mexico tonight for any survivors from the 7.1 magnitude earthquake that's killed at least 245 people. Iran's leader has hit back at Donald Trump over the US president's criticisms of his country and its nuclear deal. Internet giants like Google, Facebook and Twitter are being urged to take down terrorist content within 2 hours of it appearing online. And still on terrorism, Victoria's police will have greater legal coverage to shoot to kill suspected terrorists under new laws being considered by the Andrews government. State Labor MP Khalil Eady has locked staff out of his electorate office and changed the locks. Parliament has asked the Anti-Corruption Commission to investigate allegations the office was involved in the rorting of the MP's printing entitlement. There's been an alarming increase in the number of people developing flesh-eating ulcers in Victoria, and it's prompted the federal government to take action. A county court judge has jailed a refugee from Myanmar for 12 months for marrying a 14-year-old girl. He labelled his action as legally wrong and morally indefensible. One Nation Senator Malcolm Roberts has admitted he signed a form saying he was a British citizen, but he says he did so without reading it. The dangers of using a phone while driving have been laid bare in a new documentary. It's part of an awareness campaign to combat a growing problem. Still to come this hour, Australia's growing painkiller epidemic. Well, once again, the Caribbean has been lashed by a massive hurricane, ripping up small islands, destroying homes and leaving millions of people without power. Drug rehabilitation providers in Victoria are becoming more and more frustrated at a lack of government action to regulate private clinics. Financial regulators are being urged to ban foreign fraudsters stealing millions of dollars from Australian investors. Well, in other finance, the Australian dollar fell today as the US dollar surged. It came after the US Federal Reserve foreshadowed another rate hike. 3 baby meerkats have made their first public appearance at the National Zoo in Canberra. Weighing just 150 grams each, the pups are preciously guarded by their older siblings and their parents.
So there we have it, an average night of news. 18 negative stories to 1 positive story that somehow managed to sneak in there at the end. And I'm guessing someone had to fight bloody hard to get it in. Now if this was one night, that'd be something, but it's night after night after night. And notice how we had terrorism and Iran right there at the top. The absolutely disgusting part to this agenda is it's all derived from 9/11. We've just had the 16th anniversary and still no independent commission into what most of the world regard as the greatest false flag in history. Nothing about the official story makes sense. If indeed 9/11 was a false flag, it means the real terrorists were hiding in the US government. And with over 1.5 million dead Iraqis, a country who had nothing to do with 9/11 or had any weapons of mass destruction, some of the greatest war crimes in history have been committed, and those responsible should be brought to justice. Short of the American people dragging Cheney, Bush, Rumsfeld and others to the independent courts, The death and destruction we've seen so far could pale into insignificance if the US and its arse-licking cohorts pick a fight with China and Russia. There will be no winners in that event, and we may well spend decades repairing the damage. And all because some psychopathic warmongers are hell-bent on destroying the world.
The music is about to stop, and we're going to be left holding the biggest bag of odorous excrement ever assembled.